Australia, you guys had a very rough weekend.
Fucking terrible weekend.
Three title fights with 4 titles on the line overall. Liam Wilson losing the WBO interim shot, which will likely be a full championship sometime in the next few weeks, to Oscar Valdez. Erislandy Lara stopping Mick Zerafa in 2 for the WBA full title at 160. And now the biggest fight, and trending basically for the wrong reasons, Tszyu losing to Sebastian Fundora, majority decision. Wait, was it a split? I forgot. Was it a split or majority? A split decision. 116, 112, 113, 115, and 112, 116. You know, so first and foremost, let's get this out of the way, because a lot of fans, or a lot of hardcore Tszyu fans, seem to have gotten me mixed up when I said Tszyu lost the fight. Clearly, he did. It was a Sebastian Fundora won. No matter how he won the fight. But yes, we cannot argue that the cut on the top of his head from the elbow that Tszyu pretty much fell into changed the fight. I do feel, just getting straight out the way at the beginning, I do feel that if it wasn't for the cut, Fundora would have been laid on his ass. But no matter, Tszyu lost the fight. He did not win the fight. Nobody's arguing, not even Tszyu or his team, that it was a robbery, that this decision went the wrong way. No, he lost the fight. So I want to get this out of the way. I understand Tszyu fans, we've learned over the years, and we've been covering him for years now, they are very passionate about him. But sometimes they get a little bit delusional. You know, Tszyu is not Superman. And when it comes to boxing, shit happens. When it comes to boxing, cuts happen, and you have to adjust. Tszyu's team, especially his cut man, we will probably never see that cut man in his corner again. And if anything, all cut men going forward should know and learn from this fight to make sure you have everything that you need. You know, and you know, just so many things wrong. So first, the cut. Let's start there. How do you think it should have been handled? And I remember you telling me that you feel his corner should have, you know, stopped the fight, or you know, maybe told Tim, hey, see, you can't see, you know, before the 4th round, so we can get the decision, or get a no contest.
Yep. That's exactly what technical draw. That's exactly what should have happened. Because I watched the video with Stitch Duran. I don't know if you've seen it or not. You probably have.
Yeah.
And he probably said, he goes, there was no way you were going to stop that bloody cut. It should have been stopped. So, because he was just bleeding like a sieve. So, yeah. They should have pressed it. They should have said, yep, we're going to stop the fight. It's only 4 rounds. We'll take the technical draw, because you protect the fighter, and more importantly, you protect the belt. Well, obviously, the belt's not as important as the fighter, but you protect the fighter, and Tim still has the belt, which means he gets the Crawford fight next. You don't have to worry about no rematch. It's a draw. Okay, Fundora doesn't get any belts. He walks away with nothing, because...
And the payday, in the event, still going through with the fight. Yep.
How the fuck did he get the fight in the first place? Because he lost his last fight badly. Mm-hmm. So, but, you know, a lot of people are saying PBC have done the old switcheroo and it just fell into their lap. It'd be like, I don't care how good of PBC bloody boxing wizards they are. There's no way they could have predicted that elbow.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the gods handed him that one. And let me quote a Bible verse here, because I did some research this week. The Lord giveth, and the Lord shall taketh away. Job 1:21. I actually did there's my religious research for the week. My daughter will be happy with me. So, yeah, I said the gods handed it to him. Well, the gods are going to take it away, because in the rematch, Tim will kick his fucking ass. If that happens. They should have stopped the fight. Technical draw. Tim keeps the belt. Fundora gets nothing, right? And then they go after the Crawford fight. That's exactly what they should have happened. That's exactly what should have happened. In retrospect, sorry, I was screaming at the TV. I actually was saying, "No, fuck this, stop the fight," because that cut was probably one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
no, but we've seen a lot of cuts, man. You know, literally Tyson Fury's eyelid was hanging down I remember the brutal cut that Vitaly Klitschko had in the Lennox Lewis fight, where Lennox Lewis kept clenching and rubbing his braids in the cut to make it worse. You know, you had Badu Jack, who fought, I forgot who he fought. Damn, I forgot. I think it was Darrell, where like literally the front of his face, you know, his skull was exposed. You know, so we've seen
Cherneka Johnson.
There you go. Like,
Cherneka Johnson.
But cuts are a part of the sport. That's why you have a cut, man. You know, but as I have the cut on the screen and the stitches, you can see the way the cut is, that it was right there on the top of the head where it had no choice but to run into Tim's eyes.
Yeah, and the physician. I mean, Tim's got his own bloody doctor. I can't remember his name, but he's the guy with that awesome-looking mustache. Why didn't he say, nah, fuck it? Or why didn't, I know the ring physician asked Tim, can you see? And Tim said, yes. You should have said, no, I can't fucking see. Fuck it. So,
yeah, but that's not Tim. One thing we can say about Tim is he's not a pussy. You know, because a lot of other fighters would have been like, oh, I can't see. You know, let me get up out of here. Yep, keep my belt to get my payday. The event went through. Boom. It's not my fault.
No, it's not Tim's fault, but sometimes you need to fight smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Tim fought hard and it didn't pay off.
Yeah.
So you can't doubt that, like, Tim said himself, he goes, he doesn't like this generation of boxers, most of them are pussies. I agree with that because they all dodge each other. It's all money. It's all this bullshit. Tim doesn't fuck around. He doesn't care. Right? He doesn't give a shit. He's an old throwback fighter, old school, whatever you want to say. The fella does not fuck around, and neither does his brother. They will fucking smack the shit out of you, give him half a chance. That's what I like about him. He doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes you need to fight smart and go, you're bleeding like a fucking sieve. You're probably going to need a blood transfusion. Fuck it. Live to fight another day. Right? And, you know, protect the belt. But, I mean, we could go on for hours debating this, but
just what we noticed is once he was cut in round number 2, just one clinch or one little, you know, like just brush against the cut, it just started gushing again.
Exactly. And Fundora did enough to win the fight, but it wasn't exactly an overwhelming victory for him either.
No.
I said that in the post-fight.
Well, he won the fight off of just using, for finally, as we talked about many times, and a lot of fans have criticized him before, is he used his height. And he has a jab. He actually has a jab.
It's not much of a jab,
but it was enough. Like, here's the thing. If he was shorter, obviously he's not, you know, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. But, you know, the jab, I feel that with his height and the jab, that's his most dangerous weapon. Because he was able to use that 80-inch reach to keep Tim, even though Tim, you know, was you know, blind and not able to see, whatever the case may have been, still that jab was enough for a guy that height to be able to keep a fighter off of him. And he used it because every time he would fire the left hand, it wasn't really with any authority. Yeah, he hit Tim with some good shots. Never buzzed him, never hurt him, but it was mostly the jab and the distance and the ring generalship that kept Tszyu at bay. But regardless, as we talked about, it was a straight by win for Fundora. It wasn't a dominating win. And with the way the fight was going, you have to only assume that if he wasn't injured with the elbow to the head, and it was not intentional. You've been seeing people saying it's intentional. If you look, there's replays all over social media. You can clearly see it was not intentional.
Who the fuck's been saying it's intentional?
No, people. I'm telling you, if you read the comments from some of these them Tszyu hardcores, man. You know,
fuck off.
Yeah, it wasn't. You can clearly see it.
He ran his head in. He was ducking down, and he ran his head into his elbow. You couldn't have done fuck all about that.
Yeah.
So intentional, my ass.
Freak accident. So
nothing you could have done.
So moving on April Fool's this Monday, the WBO ordered that that Sebastian Fundora and Terence Crawford enter negotiations starting on April the 5th, this Friday. And they have until the 25th of April, it is now the 3rd, to have a deal done, to have a fight scheduled, you know, within the next 180 days or so. So before leading up to the WBO news, the manager and I guess you can see the promoter of Sebastian Fundora, was saying that there was no written rematch clause, but a verbal rematch clause, and that Tszyu would have to wait at least, this is his words, at least one fight before he would get another shot at Fundora. Now, Errol Spence, who's never done this before in his career, got into the ring to confront Sebastian Fundora about fighting him next in Dallas this summer. Well, it looks like that is all has changed. Now, mind you, Errol Spence hasn't fought since getting the shit beat out of him by Terence Crawford last July. Terence Crawford petitioned the WBO several weeks ago to invoke his mandatory status. So for those who don't know, when you're a champion by the WBO in a lower division, and you move up to another division, you automatically become the mandatory challenger. So what's going to be interesting is just Tuesday, after Monday, the WBO ordered Fundora versus Crawford. Tuesday, the promoter, Samson Lukovitz, says that they're going to honor the rematch clause for Tszyu and basically saying he can have it immediately when he's ready. So I guess what I'm trying to say is something happened that we may not ever get the answer to where the promoter, I keep saying this, let's just say Samson, did a whole backflip to basically say, okay, yeah, Tszyu can have his shot next. So the point I'm trying to make is I really strongly feel that in some way, shape, or form, Lukovitz, they tried to shaft Tszyu. Bad business.
Oh, absolutely.
Bad business. You know, they wanted to go on to Errol Spence because they've said, Errol Spence, it'll be in Dallas in front of 90,000 people. Big money. We have to maximize the profits for the fighter. And he even had the nerve to say that Terence Crawford, doesn't really deserve the shot because he don't bring in any money or whatever. Just basically tap dancing around the whole situation. So now, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's because of Tszyu's team, because Glenn Jennings has come out to say recently over on Fox over in Australia that there is a written rematch clause with a timeline on it. So normally, if a promoter or a company releases a press release to all the media, that means something went wrong. He's basically saying, hey, here's my written, pretty much apology. No, this is what's going to happen. So the question now is, they're saying that Tszyu, Glenn Jennings said that Tszyu had a 20-week training camp and that he's going to need some time to go lay around in the salt water, heal, spend time with his family. And what have you been hearing about? They're saying the fall, but when you think about it, it's a cut on the top of the head. It's not like an eye, it's not like the nose, or anything. And I'm wondering, why do they need that much time? They need to get back out there and like stitches for a cut on top of the head. That's not going to take that long to heal. And then if it does open again, you will be relying on another freak accident to open it up. I think that they need to get back. I think they need to get Fundora back into the ring as soon as possible.
Exactly. They need to get back in the ring by July.
Don't fuck around with the PBC politics, as they see what happened with the Charlo fight. And they already know now, PBC has shown their cards. They want Fundora versus Spence.
That's exactly right. But I'm very interested to see. I mean, I'll believe the rematch will happen when both boys are in the ring and the bell goes ding. That's when I'll believe it will happen.
Especially for the WBO.
I read an article. Big man?
Especially for the WBO.
Exactly, because the WBA will strip Fundora's ass, give it to Crawford, and he'll fight Josh Kelly or Erickson Lubin.
Yeah.
So that's because Crawford will go, oi, I want to fight by July. I don't give a rat's ass what Tszyu's doing.
And he'll be on a year layoff by that time.
Exactly. So he'll be fighting in June. He'll be fighting in July against somebody, right, for the vacant title, and Tim will have to rematch Fundora for the WBC belt.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what's going to happen. I read an article today that they're looking at doing it in Sydney at the Entertainment Centre, which I don't know why. I think they only hold about 8,000 people. I mean, a fight that big. But if it was for both belts, that's probably 30,000, 40,000.
I have a hard time seeing Fundora, PBC sending him over there with the belts. I have a hard time seeing that.
Well, exactly. So do I.
Especially with PBC's new Amazon Prime deal. It's for stateside. I have a hard time seeing that.
Exactly. Well, I have a hard time seeing the rematch happening personally. I mean, I think the one thing I've learned about PBC is that they're full of shit. They lie their asses off notoriously. I mean, 1 minute they're saying this, next minute they do that. How many times has PBC pulled the wool over everyone's eyes?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Canelo versus Crawford, Canelo versus bloody Charlo. That come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, and plus they're notorious. They're notorious for just doing, smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Remember when we pulled up the video of Vince saying you all bought it, you got sucked into what we were doing?
Yeah.
How often have they done that?
Yeah, well, remember, Tszyu signed with PBC specifically for Charlo, and we see how that turned out.
Right.
And then, he was going to fight Keith Thurman on pay-per-view. For whatever reasons, Keith Thurman got injured, and then he ended up fighting a 6'6" Sebastian Fundora on 12 days' notice.
Exactly. So, I mean, as I said, I think that old Sebastian Fundora thing, that was a setup. They wanted him to fight Fundora from the start.
Yeah.
There's no way Keith Thurman was going to fight him.
So let's talk about the politics. Okay, so we have Crawford, WBO mandatory. In order for Tszyu Fundora to be a rematch for both of the belts, Crawford would have to agree to step aside. He would have to agree. I don't see it happening.
That ain't gonna happen.
And also, as far as the WBC is concerned, Fundora has two mandatories. If Charlo, let's say if he does, I'm not saying he will, but let's say if he does, he can come back and say, hey, I'm first. I want to fight Sebastian Fundora, get my belt back. But then you also have Sergey Bohachuk, who's the WBC interim champion. So already right there, with both of those belts, to get a rematch with Tszyu, it's there's too much politics involved. Now, Errol Spence is right there. He's a PBC guy, and as you can see, they're trying to shoehorn that in. The promoter, Samson, is trying to shoehorn it in. PBC would love it because Errol Spence is a PBC guy since the very beginning. They would love to have that on pay-per-view, and they already have a venue in place in Dallas in front of 90,000. Or they think it's going to be 90,000. So Fundora has said in the post-fight interview, like he didn't straight out, he actually pretty much did. He said, hey, everyone has goals. That was what he said. Regarding the Errol Spence fight. But he said Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world. I would like to fight him. He wants to fight Terence Crawford, but his team seems to be steering him away from that fight towards a more in-house fight with Errol Spence. And then the promoter Samson also went on to say that basically the Errol Spence fight would be a 50-50 split. But if it was Crawford would have to take the lower percentage. It just doesn't make sense. So everything right there is saying that they do not want that Terence Crawford fight. But when it comes to Tszyu, I think that, the WBO, they like Tszyu, clearly. We've seen what happened with the Magomed Kurbanov situation.
Yeah. But they like Tszyu, but they like Crawford better.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that WBO title's gone, to be honest. I think Sebastian Fundora is going to be forced to drop it, even though he doesn't want to, or he's going to be stripped. Because if he fights Tszyu in a rematch, I don't see Crawford going for that.
Well, the other reason why his team wants him to fight Spence, because out of the rematch with Tim and the fight with Crawford, Spence is the only one he's actually got half a chance of beating because the other two are slaughtering.
Yeah.
So, like Tim, a fully fit Tim no cut would have knocked him out inside of 6 rounds.
I think so, because that right hand was in just the first round. That right hand was landing at will.
Terence Crawford would belt him around the park for 12 rounds and get an easy decision if he didn't already knock him out. Because remember, Terence Crawford would probably liver punch the shit out of him. Remember what he did to Jeff Horn?
I think so. Yeah, for real.
Fundora's liver's right there. Terence Crawford would annihilate his liver. So he'd win by body shots.
Yeah.
So, and his team knows he ain't beating those two. The only chance he's got is to beat up poor old Errol Spence, who's been through how many car crashes?
Yeah.
Including the one that Crawford
2.
gave him?
I think it was 3, but definitely 2 car crashes. I know for sure it was 2.
Plus the ass kicking that Crawford gave him.
Ass kicking of a lifetime. Like he got his ass beat.
Exactly. So poor old Spence, once again, blown up, washed up welterweight. Hey,
there you go. How about that? in his first fight at 154 too.
Exactly. So I guarantee people will wait for me to say that. Sorry, it took an hour, but I got there. So that's my patented catchphrase. That's I'm patenting that. No one steal it. It's mine.
Well, it is important to point out that Sebastian Fundora's nose was broken. So just like Tszyu had that cut, Sebastian Fundora was bleeding profusely from the nose into his mouth, swallowing blood. So he has to heal up, but it's definitely going to be interesting, especially come April the 5th. Now, we've seen it happen before, where PBC may ask for a extension of the deadline. That's not saying that they don't plan on dropping the belt, but they may ask for an extension just to try to figure things out. But I do not see Terence Crawford stepping aside unless it's a significant amount of money for him to step aside and possibly fight Lubin or Josh Kelly for the interim, and then fight the winner of Fundora, Tszyu too. But we're really waiting to see what Tszyu is going to do, because he's been off. Now the immediate rematch is there, and if they're smart, which they've seen that PBC has already tried to shaft them, they need to take that rematch as soon as possible. Because the way Samson was describing it is that he would get a shot at Fundora, but then Fundora would have to beat Spence. And if Spence wins against Fundora, then there's no rematch for Tszyu. And if Spence gets his hands on that WBC and WBO belt, he's going to give Crawford and Tszyu the runaround. Like we saw what he did with Crawford. For years, he was giving Crawford the runaround. So I do not, to be honest, I don't think it's going to be good for the division and good for boxing if Errol Spence gets that fight against Sebastian Fundora. And we can already see how fans were reacting to the news on social media. Like, they don't want the fight. They're looking like, how could Spence just jump the line? He ducked the Terence Crawford rematch at 147 to all of a sudden try to jump up to 154 and get a shot at the belts before him. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck off, Errol Spence. Yeah,
doesn't make sense. Yeah, it was a very shady and dodgy move.
Yeah, exactly. It was bloody embarrassing is what it was.
Yeah, and he called out, and you never see Errol Spence get in the ring to call out Fundora. He's supposed to be the big fish, quote unquote. Fundora should be calling him out, and Fundora doesn't even want to fight him. He wants Terence Crawford.
Well, exactly. Fundora ain't no dumbass. He's a smart boy. So, congratulations to him and his sister there. I only have a brother sister come out of the world. Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. So one thing for sure is, I'm going to go ahead and say this before I let Big J wrap things up. I like Sebastian Fundora. I like the cut of his jit. The way he's been talking, like he wants to fight the best. And you can tell that with the politics aside, that he's trying, from what I got from the post-fight press conference, is that he's trying to fight the best. He doesn't want to duck Terence Crawford. He's not saying, he's got to wait till after Errol Spence, even though Errol Spence will likely be more money because it's an in-house fight. But he wants to fight the best. And we don't know if it was him. And what if it was him that went to his team and said, no, you know what, Samson, I understand, you're my manager, promoter, you want the best for me. You want me to fight Spence, but I want to fight Terence Crawford. Not Terence Crawford, I want to fight Tszyu. I think Tszyu deserves this rematch. So, we have to give him some credit there if that's the way it's been going. But the way I've been seeing it is I don't think he's going to be the one to try to duck the rematch. I think it will be his team.
Yeah, exactly. I've been sensing a lot of pushback from Fundora himself. So it's like when I asked him about the Spence fight, he basically said, fuck off, I want to fight Crawford.
Yeah, pretty much. Is that pretty much what he said?
Exactly. He's like, yeah. And exactly, there's no bloody benefit in fighting Spence. What, you're beating up a poor old, once again, washed up, blown up welterweight who's held together by duct tape?
Yeah.
What's that going to do for him?
Yeah.
So, poor old Spence, he just needs to go back into his little hidey hole and stay there for his own health, for God's sake, because I don't want to see the poor bastard get beat up again.
Yeah, that was a big time ass whooping.
Exactly. Imagine, Crawford being, imagine what Tim would do to him 154. He'd fucking kill him. So, yeah, Spence just needs to probably. And
that's the crazy thing. If you would ask me a year ago, I would have said Spence. But now, with the way I look at Spence now, I would pick Tim to beat him. Right here on the record, I would pick Tszyu to beat him.
And beat him badly. Yeah. Beat the shit out of him.
So it took some time. But see, as we talked about 2 years ago, Like, you know, they wanted us to start giving Tszyu credit for beating the guys he was beating, you know, Jeff Horn, and as you were saying, guys like Stevie Spark. But no, I'm sold on Tszyu now. I'm sold.
Well, that's because he did what he needed to do.
Yeah,
he did what
he's got
who he needed to beat. The only person that's a real threat to Tszyu is Crawford.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else beating him. That's it. The only person, right? The only person in any of those divisions, middleweight I won't comment on because middleweight he has to move up. But at 154, anyone moving up from 147, Crawford is really the only guy that has.
And another thing is that's the fight to make at 154. That's the biggest fight right now at 154. Crawford versus Tszyu. It's not Crawford Fundora. Like, even though Fundora has the belts, it's Crawford versus Tszyu.
Exactly.
And despite the fact that Tszyu lost the fight, he's trending. You know, it's funny how that works to where, you know, the fight has buzz, post-fight buzz, because of the defeat and how he lost. So in reality, he did accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. Like, his name is circulating around in American circles now.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you're right. In the end, he got exactly what he wanted. He wanted to make himself a big name.
Yeah, he's trending. He's been trending all weekend.
So it actually would be more beneficial, like I said. I think I said this in the post-fight video. It'd be more beneficial if Fundora goes, yeah, no, I'll just drop the WBO and he fights Crawford for it.
Yeah.
That's an option. So he can have his little Spence fight, kick the living shit out of Spence, right? But then again, that won't work because if he fights Crawford, he's going to get another L on his. Within the next 6 to 12 months, Crawford's got him, but anything after that, then I'll be leaning towards Tim because Crawford will start getting a little bit too old.
Yeah. Crawford's pushing 40 fast. I believe Crawford's going to be 37 this year. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, I think he's 36 now.
Yeah,
so
he's going to be 37.
Literally,
yeah, he's going to be 37 in September.
His ass is hanging out of his prime, that's for sure.
However, as far as Crawford's concerned, he's dominated every single opponent. He's never been beat up, nothing. So that's on his side. He's dominated everybody.
Exactly. Because he kicked the living shit out of poor old Jeff Horn.
Yeah, he's dominated everyone.
I just don't want Crawford to happen to what happened to him at 147. Because let's be honest, when he was at 147, who did he fight besides Jeff Horn? Fucking nobody. I don't remember anyone he fought.
No. He had no. Let me tell you. Felix Diaz, when he fought at 140, that was the last like somewhat significant threat. Everybody after that, for example, the last time he went to a decision was in 2016 against Victor Postol. I covered that fight on pay-per-view, and guess what? He danced around that fight. He didn't engage Victor Postol. He could have stopped him if he wanted to, but he fought John Wayne Jr., Felix Diaz, Julius Ndangu, Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, Aglidas Kavalauskas, Kell Brooks, Sean Porter, David Evernessian, and then Errol Spence. And the reason why he couldn't get fights, it's well known that PBC froze him out. PBC, just like they had the 154-pound division, they dominated the 147-pound division after Mayweather retired. Dominated. So they wouldn't send their guys to fight Crawford because they could make their own in-house fights. So he had to fight just what was out there. So when he beat up Errol Spence, he took out all that frustration on Errol Spence.
This is going to piss a lot of people off. Crawford's better than Mayweather ever was. Deal with it.
I think so. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Crawford's a two-time undisputed champion.
Yes,
Floyd never become undisputed. So if you want to come after me in the comments, fucking go ahead.
I'm saying they're going to come after me too because I'm saying it because it's not just the skill set and the fact that he hasn't been really allowed to fight the guys because so look at it like this, right? Errol Spence cleaned up his side of the street, fought all the PBC guys, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, your Dennis Wu guys, beat all of them, and then Crawford beat the shit out of him. So what does that say?
Exactly.
He beat the man who beat the man.
Mayweather's a pussy that ducked everyone anyway, so fuck him.
Yeah. Closing thoughts?
Once again, fucking awful weekend that we do like to sweep under the carpet, but you got to take here's a positive for Mick. His video got more views than what Tim once did.
Yeah,
so
there you go. How about that?
There's a positive. Yeah, how about that? Poor old Liam Wilson, he knows that he fucked up, but hopefully he'll get back. I mean, as I keep on saying, you can't count anyone because of Sam Solomon. He won a title at 40.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys aren't even 30. I mean, Mick's barely 30. Tim's not even 30. How old's Liam? 26, 27?
Yeah, 28.
They're still kids. They got plenty of time. Well, compared to us, because we're in our 40s now. These are still young men. They're in the thick of their primes. They'll be fine, just as long as they don't keep fucking up.
Yeah,
they'll be right. So Mick, Joel Camilleri, I'd like to see him that fight, or Wade Ryan. There's still fights out there. I dare say at some point, probably within the next 12 to 18 months, they'll throw Nikita in front of him. All right. Tim gets the rematch, kicks the shit out of Fundora, then fights Crawford while Crawford mucks around fighting Josh Kelly or Lubin or somebody, because he's not going to sit on the shelf for too much longer.
Yeah.
All right. Loma, George, 50-50, because I don't know. I'll have to see Loma up close to make my thing.
Yeah.
Sky, I mean, okay, if she wins, if she wins. If she doesn't, I don't think she will. I mean, stats are not on her favour. Despite everything else that's helping her, the stats aren't in her favour.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did we talk about?
The Maloneys.
Sorry?
The Maloneys.
The Moloney's, yep. We forgot to mention Jason's fighting in Japan. When is that Inoue fight that Jason's on?
May, I saw that. I think it's May the 8th. Let me pull it up again.
Yeah, I think it's the week before
the guy's name.
Loma thing.
He's fighting Yoshika Taki.
Yep. That should be an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. I think we've talked everyone's ears off.
Yeah. Also, let me say this before I forget. There is another significant fight in the 154-pound division this weekend. I checked as late as yesterday. There is no stateside broadcaster or UK broadcaster for Bakram Murtazalia versus Jack Kuke. IBF title fight at 154, a fight that's much bigger now than it was 2 weeks ago. Because right now with the 154-pound division, as you know, of course, Sebastian Fundora has 2 of the belts, WBC and WBO. Israel Madrimov, a matchroom fighter who's fighting on Saudi cards, is the WBA. And Murtazaliev and Kuke are going to be fighting for that vacant IBF. So you can guarantee that all promoters are going to be looking at that fight to try to throw money at them, not for the fighters, but for that belt, because that belt is very highly coveted for political reasons. So if I do find that fight, trust me, I'm going to be covering it on the channel because the fight means a lot more now than ever. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy and Big J at Old Mate Big J on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.